charging our cellular energy, So yeah, that's what's driving me. I mean, the product for sure, and the results with the products, the life changing results. I mean, it blows my mind. I just heard a story 3 days ago from this guy. He's working with somebody that had a stroke, and this guy lost his voice a year and a half ago, and he's been using this incredible technology, and he's talking again. So I mean, that brings tears to my eyes. I mean, I've never heard anything even come close to what we have here. So that's why we're growing so fast, and that's why this company's exploded because of the products, the technology, and the company behind the technology. I mean, Ollie Life is an amazing, amazing company out there to help everybody, and they pay us well. I mean, they pay us really well to help people. I mean, it's like a win-win-win situation. We get
They
paid to
pay
help
very
people.
handsomely. They pay
I
very
know.
handsomely, Vicky.
They
You have to
they,
admit it. Yeah,
they pay us
absolutely.
very handsomely. They already given me a free condo in Thailand, and so I'm like so fortunate, so blessed. And I mean, I couldn't even think of a better thing. I mean, getting paid to help somebody is like incredible. So yeah,
Yeah,
here we are.
absolutely,
I'm looking forward
absolutely.
to a bright future.
There is one more question what I wanted to ask you that, we have a slight advantage when we've been in China in January and we was able to visit the company headquarters there. And so that was really, really eye-opening experience for us. So where we was able to see the company there, the company headquarters there, the treatment, the professionalism and everything what we experienced over there, that was really amazing. But previously, we both were in the same company, right? Where we were, met with the similar technology, and then, in January of this visit, I was immediately know that wow, that is really, really something different, here. So when you had this feeling first time,
Oh my God, it's night and day. It's night and day. I know that's where we met. We met from the previous company. I've known you since I started that company back in 2022.
yeah,
We were communicating back then. You were leading Europe, and I was leading the U.S. And we blew up that company like crazy. But the difference is so many different differences. It's basically night and day. This company is not driven by hype. This company is not driven by look at me, I'm this person and I'm that person. And this company is not driven by flashy people up on stage thinking that they're doctors. I mean, this company is not driven by that. This company is driven with real integrity. I mean, the big difference is integrity. The big difference is product quality. A compensation plan, forget about it. I mean, this compensation plan is light years ahead of that
oh,
compensation plan for
of
that
course,
company.
yeah.
I mean, it's like night and day as far as the percentages of money that we get paid out, and they don't. What do they have? Nothing. I mean, they have no integrity as far as I'm concerned. That's just my understanding of how I feel about it. And I built that company. Really, was a top earner in the U.S. and I left that company to join Ollie Life because I mean, I knew about Ollie Life a couple years ago and I kind of poo-pooed it because I was arrogant and I basically didn't really look into it and investigate it because I was with that other company. But since I'm involved now, and I look back at the differences, it's basically night and day. That company's going nowhere. Ollie Life's going to be, is going to the moon because we have integrity, we have product quality, we have ownership that actually, it has a purpose, and we it's so many different differences. Yeah, I'm so fortunate.
Absolutely,
When I heard you
absolutely.
came on board, when I heard you were coming on board this, I was like, wow, what a big difference. And when then Thomas came on board, it was like, wow, this is really, really going to blow up. Actually, I have to say, I mean, I found out about Ollie Life by seeing your Facebook group.
Hmm.
I mean, I knew about Ollie Life for a couple years, but when I was glancing on Facebook once and you changed your group from that other company
Yeah,
to Ollie Life, you
that
got
was
my
intentional. That was
you
intentional, of
you
course. Yeah,
you got my attention, and I was like, wow, what's
yeah,
going on here? So you're responsible for me being here, brother. So thank you very
yeah.
much.
Well, that's great. That's great, Ricky. Thank you very much, brother. Absolutely. So I really appreciate you, and you can, of course, hopefully stay with us with the end of this call. Okay. So
Sure.
and absolutely, yeah. And I don't know if Tuan, maybe you can talk now. If you can, just please. Unmute yourself. Okay, so I think I want to introduce you again. So Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very fortunate to able to introduce you Mr. Tuan Nguyen from the United States, and he is our upline. And actually, he and his wife Wen, they're a fantastic power couple from California, and they are actually the first M6. The first M6. That is absolutely incredible. And Olilife started the expansion to the Western market, we can say about a year ago, right?
Yeah,
Tuan,
about a year
yeah?
ago. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yep.
can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah. So
Yeah,
about a
that's it.
year ago. So, and I know that probably in a year, you guys meet in the US and in the Canadian market, I think now it's near or even over the $50 million, if
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken,
we
right?
as a whole team, everybody combined, we're about $48 million in sales already. Yeah,
Wow.
it's been very very humbling, and it's been a blessing, to be honest with you.
Wow, well, that's great. That's great. So Tuan, that I just said in the introduction that Europe is growing really very well, and I think there is a lots of people are just here the first time about Holy Life and seeing what we are doing here. And my intention with this live stream was to start something new, which has
Mm.
no boundaries like in the Zoom calls. So anyone can watch it. There is no amount of people, which can be too much because people can follow it on YouTube, people can follow it on Facebook. So absolutely. So if we can even see what they're commenting here, so it's very convenient and very nice thing for everybody who can join. Doesn't matter which team you are, actually. But I can tell you exactly that more than likely everybody who is here and listening, it is in Tuan's team. That's for sure. Because we are, of course, we belong to Tuan's team, so probably you are as well. Absolutely. So Tuan, if you can just share some of your wisdom with us, that will be really appreciated. What is your message to the Europeans now?
Well, how much time do we have? I'm just curious.
Well, just as much you want. Absolutely.
Oh no, all joking aside, I really love what Ricky said. Ricky, absolutely, his message was incredible. How for him, he keeps things really simple. That he wants to be able, and I got a chance to really spend time with Ricky a lot. And for him, when I listen to his message, he's really about making sure that the product really is helping people. That's really making a difference in people's lives when it comes to their health and their wellness. And as long as the product's really good, the company's actually mission is in the right place, it's in alignment, then everything else comes. Of course, you did mention that the company pays handsomely. Of course, the commission is something that we all enjoy. We will of course cash the checks, but the main hero is the product and the customer experiencing the products. I think if it wasn't for the product and what it does for people's wellness, I truly believe there wouldn't be an opportunity at all. Because you can have the best compensation plan in the world, but if you don't have a product that, number one, is demonstratable, meaning like the average person can take it and say, "Let me demonstrate for you. Let me show you how it works." And Ollie Life has a product that is extremely very demonstratable. Anybody can actually demonstrate it. Number two, you actually feel something. So I've been in the industry for 26 years, maybe 27 years. I know, Gabor, you and we had a talk about that when we were in Asia. You've been in longer. And, we've represented all types of different services in our profession, right? So we've done, whether it's services or supplements or, even crypto. I mean, sometimes you're either selling an idea, or if it's a supplement, you take it, you don't know what it's doing to your body. But with this, when people are putting the feet on the device and they're experiencing it for a 20-minute or 30-minute session, they feel something. And then the third thing is that you don't have to change your lifestyle to get a result. I've in one of our journeys, we represented a weight loss company. And believe me, weight loss is something that we all need as a society. We actually have a what I believe is an epidemic with people, overindulging, overweight. This is absolutely very normal.
Yes.
It's become a normal thing these days. However, as a business, it's very difficult to share weight loss, because if you don't show them a result within 90 days, them losing 10 pounds, 20 pounds, or whatever the case is, people fall off. And you have to, if you take a weight loss product, you have to change your lifestyle in order for you to see a result that you feel is impacting your life. But with these amazing products, it's not something that Tuan is saying, or what my wife Van is saying. We have tremendous amount of testimonials where people have used the product and they've seen a difference in their wellness without changing their lifestyle. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's incredible.
Let me share with you something interesting.
Mm,
So far we are in this business for about probably 10 months or a little bit over
yeah.
that. And one of the most valuable testimonial I ever heard, that was in one of the grounding party. Okay.
Mm,
And a young guy was walking in, he was sitting to the P90 plus. Okay. He was sitting
mm.
there for like 20 minutes. In the meantime, we figured out that this guy is 11 times MMA champion.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay,
So
that's amazing.
that's tough, yeah. So of course, as a professional, he has several exercises per day, not just one. Okay, and
Mm,
when he was just get off from the P90 plus, he would need to rush because the next exercise was starting. Okay, then he was fine there, and later he called us and he said, "What the heck was that?" I said, "Why? What happened?" He said, my punching power and my kicking power is increased so dramatically that my coach wasn't believe his eyes. I
wow.
said, wow. And I felt like, this is I think the second exercise for today, but I felt like it's the first one after 8 hours of sleep and rest and so on. So for me, this is very, very valuable. You know why? Because I know that someone is in the professional sport, they're very well aware of their limits. They exactly know that this is it and not anymore, right? And even if they are feeling like a little bit of increase, they will exactly know it and they will know it. So that's where I was know that, well, these devices are not just for people who have several different health problems. No, this is for basically, literally everybody, everybody, everybody. And I always telling to my people, listen, the potential clients are a lot bigger and numerous here than just the people who have some kind of a problem, health problem.
Mm.
So not looking just over there. So what do you think about that?
No, I think you're right. It's amazing because Ollie Life is doing something that we think is, they're very smart, because I love what you said, right? Where the gentleman, he was able to see an improvement in his performance. And I think the world is changing so much. There's so many moving parts that's changing because of technology, because of the ability of people accessing the internet. And I mean, I am old enough that I was around the .com era, during the year 2000. And back then, I feel that the evolution of the economy and how people transact was still kind of slow, but today we are using artificial intelligence. We have the shared economy with Uber and Grab, and there's so many different moving parts that's happening. And one of the things that what Gabor, what you were saying is how there's all types of people that are benefiting from this, not just one particular category, but in many categories. What Ollie Life is doing is so brilliant. See, 20 years ago, it was the norm. If you got sick, if you had a simple as a cold, a flu, you would say, "Oh, I have congestion. Let me go to the doctor. Let me go to my family doctor. Let me go to the hospital and actually get this taken care of." And that was a normal thing. And I remember my father taking me to the doctor. He's coughing on the whatever you call it, the chest, and then he would make sure it's warm, and then he would just check my heartbeat and stuff like that. And nobody does that anymore. You know, most people don't wait until they're sick to go to the hospital, get it done. More people today, especially younger people today, are now looking for ways to prevent them to going to the hospital because they're learning from their predecessors that you don't want to wait until you're sick. You know, you want to do it now.
Yep.
So that's why these med spas are exploding. Doesn't matter where you live around the world. You could be living in the Netherlands. You could be living in the United States. You could be living in Thailand. There's med spas that are popping up everywhere around the world. And you're going to notice these things like ice bath, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, red light therapy. I mean, PEMF therapy. Okay. There's all different types, ultrasound, electromuscle stimulation. So there's all these different therapies that's going around. And all of these devices are expensive. You know, a hyperbaric oxygen chamber to get a really good one is around $80,000. A red light panel, you know, to get a really, really, really good one, it's about $10,000 or $15,000. If you really want something of high quality, and not now even then, just the device, the device, but the sessions could be $100 a session, could be $200 a session. And that takes time away from you, right? So if you're working a full-time job, you have to schedule that out. You got to go do it. You got to lay down. So there's a lot of different things. So what Olilife did was they said, wait a minute, this is a growing market. How do we be able to approach the people who are into sports, the athletes? How do we approach someone, the average person out there that maybe they want to be able to improve their overall wellness? How do we do that? So they've taken these devices that are expensive, that's time consuming, and all they've done is they made it affordable. And then the average person can afford it and use it in the comforts of their home. We've never seen anything like this before. And it's amazing. And when we actually flew out to Asia to actually meet with management, we were really impressed with one of the main shareholders. And we asked him, what is your top focus in this company? And he said, to be honest with you, there's only a few things that we focus on, but the number one thing we focus on is that we want to research and develop the highest quality product that brings the most value for the end user. When they are spending their hard-earned money, we want to be able to make sure that they feel that they get their values worth. Something so simple, Gabor, something so simple, but the truth is a lot of companies don't do that. A lot of companies, regardless if they're in the direct selling industry or outside the direct selling industry, is just an excuse to launder money to friends and family. But with Olilife, we can see based on our own experience that people buy the product, whatever product it is. It could be the P90 Plus, it could be the shaker massager, their choice. But what we've noticed is that they're buying the product. We don't even upsell them. We're just like, hey, just whichever one you like is up to you. They buy a P90 or P90 Plus, for example. They use it. Not everyone does this. Okay, I don't want to hype things up. But if they use it consistently long enough, you will find that they naturally will want to look at all the other products within the Olilife brand, and they'll start buying the other products. They'll start with the P90, then they'll get the shaking massager. Then
exactly. From you know, this is what I used to say in the presentations. You know, there's the Apple analogy. You know, absolutely, it's worked the same way. You know, most of the people are buying the iPhone the first time, right? That's their first, expose for Apple. Okay, correct. They start using it, they start loving it, they have a good experience, and they are immediately start looking to the other products. They might buy an AirPod, they might buy an iPad or whatever, and not because they have to. And this is the key, right? But because they want to. And the same is true for Olilife. So just what you say, people buy one product. Maybe they're not even 100% convinced, but it's okay, fine. Let's, give it a try. Okay, whatever. They start using it. They start loving it. And they are immediately start looking. If this is so good, what about the other products? Probably they are very good as well. So I might want to try them. I want to buy them. And sooner or later, it's come the next stage. when you are, oh, I want all of them.
That's
that's
very, very true.
that's it. So it's absolutely. We have this experience, definitely. That's one of the reasons I really love this business. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a different business, you know. I think if you're new to this industry, you'll find that this is a fun business. And if you have been in the industry before, what I will tell you is you will find yourself surprised because the company, they they don't, how do I explain this, the a way where people can understand. So for Van and I, we've been in this industry for quite some time, and being in here, we noticed that there's all different moving parts in a company. And you know, there's the shipping, and then there's the customer service, there's the marketing. You know, pretty much there's the supply chain, the company operations, and then there's the distributors, right? Um, one thing we'll notice is that the company doesn't get in your way. They will, you know, do I believe that the company is perfect? No. I mean, I'm not going to be the person here to hype things up. I will say that the company is 3 years old. They have they are a growing, learning company. Uh, but at the same time, for the fact that the company is 3 years old, they've done phenomenally very well. They're very established in several markets. And you can see, if you're patient enough, you can see the company evolve over time, and they keep their word. For example, European market is a great example. When Gabor and you know, the rest of the leadership, which is a small group of people that just said, you know what, we're going to actually build the European market. When Gabor, when you and the rest of the crew said, we're going to build and we're going to create a market here in Europe, there wasn't anything there. In fact, there was hardly any credit card processing that was there. In fact, because the fact that there was hardly any credit card processing, 9 out of 10 credit card processes weren't doing well in the European market because there wasn't any established relationship with the European banks. But
Yeah.
the company said, okay, as long as Gabor, you and, you know, the leadership can be able to prove that there's a market, get these transactions to go through, let us communicate with the banks, let's make sure that we establish a relationship with them. Today, I would say not all, but I would say 8 out of 10 credit card processing do go through, and it's gotten a lot smoother. Second thing is, using European as an example, one thing I saw was that in the beginning, it took about 4 to 6 weeks for the shipping to actually get to the European market. And you
Yeah.
know, Europe is very big. There's
That's
many
true.
different
Yeah.
countries. And they ship from their, what they call the International Logistics Center, which is Hong Kong. So it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to receive. But through
Sometimes eight.
sometimes eight,
Yeah.
but
Sometimes
sometimes eight.
eight. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
True.
what was amazing is that the company was able to see there was a market, and over time, they actually did a test shipping with a starting warehouse at Czech Republic, which was great. You know, they did it a lot faster than we expected. And then second one, which was our surprise too, was in Berlin. And now there's
Mm.
two warehouses. They might come up with a third one, who knows? But they're
Yeah.
scaling. It's almost like we are partnering up with the company, and they're making sure that they're scaling with us. So I will say that the company continues to surprise us, to be able to continue to expand markets based on us, you know, showing them that there's a demand for it. So we find the company different, and we're continuing to be surprised every single month.
Absolutely. So it's again, we just moving back to a little bit to the compensation plan part,
Mm,
actually. So I don't want to talk about the plan in details right now,
yeah.
for sure. But so some of the people are still not understand that how big is that feature that we don't have any auto ships. It is absolutely make a very big difference here. What is your experience so far, Tuan?
This is actually one of my top favorite. So being involved in other companies, there is a component behind this industry where you gotta what we call managing your team. So when you manage your team, there's a whole entire workload that is needed of you. So if you're planning on building a business that I would say the average person wants to make in US dollars, the average person wants to make $500 a month. Now, maybe some people say, no, I want to make $100,000 a year. Some people say, no, I want to be a millionaire. Okay. But the truth is, the average person statistically, they want to make $500 a month. Now, if someone can make $500 a month, then they may say to themselves, you know what? If I can make $500 a month, then maybe I can make $1,000 a month. Okay. Now, with of course hard work and dedication, and with a little bit of work ethic, because this is a performance-driven business, we believe that you can make $500 a month. Again, with hard work, dedication, just like going to the gym.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So with this company, they have something that I think is very unique. There is no what we call active status. What does that mean? That means that you are not required. Oh, can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear
Yep,
you perfectly.
perfect.
Absolutely. That's
So
okay.
so you are not required to hold on to an auto ship, or you don't have a sales requirement every single month to maintain the eligibility to continue to earn your commissions.
Yeah, for
Other
sure.
other companies, they give you that requirement. Either you have to sell something every month, or you have to hold onto a product or buy product every single month to maintain this. And this actually becomes very dreaded, in my opinion, in the industry. Now, I love the industry. I'm not here to talk bad about the industry. This industry is taking care of us. I believe that this is a part of the industry that it needed to evolve. It needed to come
Yes.
through an evolution, because people are exhausted. People are busy these days. Inflation has increased around the world. Doesn't matter where you live. People have increased responsibility because of the phone, because of internet. Your attention is needed in many different places. So
Yes.
in an older guarded company of the old style, where you have to have active status, you have to have auto ship, you have to manage your business. So if your organization grows to a certain level, imagine that you want to make sure you maintain those auto ships in your business every single month from all your customers, and all the people that are in your business. And that's very exhausting, because there's going to be some people that are ordering a product every single month, and maybe they have an overage. Maybe they have 6 bottles of vitamins. They don't need it anymore. So then they call you and they say, I already got 6 bottles. I don't need it no more. So then they cancel. When they
Yep.
cancel, they're thinking in their mind, I've already quit the business. And so they're not even doing the business no more. Or you feel guilty because they have 6 bottles of the supplement, which is good for them, by the way, but they could have saved that money towards paying
Yeah,
an
it's
electric
it's it's
bill.
it's too early. It's not the problem is not with the supplements. Yeah,
No,
the
it's not.
problem with this business model. Okay,
Correct.
because you know why? Because in my opinion, this auto ship model is built on a psychological feature. This
Yeah.
is basically emotional blackmail,
Yeah.
because
I mean,
the only motivation behind these auto ships, what is it? Is the fear of loss, my friend. The fear of loss. If I'm not buying it, I'm going to lose my qualification. I'm going to lose my commission, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And this is one of the main reasons that people just get sick and tired with this emotional blackmailing. And they just cancel it. You know what? Get rid of it. That's it. Stop it. It's enough. I'm not stressing over it ever again. And
no, you're
that's a big step forward here, that we don't have this.
you're spot on. I think people in today's world, they want something more straightforward. They
Yeah.
want something that's more transparent, that hey, this is what is this? This is chocolate. Okay, perfect. That's it. That's all they want to know. What do I need
Yeah.
to do? I need to buy a device. I need to buy an all-like product. And if I want to stay as a customer, I stay as a customer. But what if I want to share? You can share. That's it. There's no managing of your business. in Ollie Life, there's no subscription that you have to maintain. There's no website fee you have to maintain. There's no auto ship. You don't have to order product every single month.
Yeah.
If you decide you want to be a customer, you can be a customer, because everybody starts up as a customer. And
Absolutely.
if you decide you want to do the business, that's an option. You have a site that you can enroll other customers as you choose. It is that simple. And I think people don't want to manage their business. They want to share their business. People just want to love the product.
That's it.
They just want to share, and that's it. And that's what makes Ollie Life so unique. And that's the advantage. People really enjoy that part of the compensation plan. Yeah.
And the simplicity. I mean, yesterday we had a leadership call with the Polish leaders, okay, for the Polish teams. And they were asking me that, listen, what is the secret? I said, what kind of secret? So why the Hungarians are so successful? Actually in September 13, we have our next Super Sunday in Budapest. And you know how many people were coming? 650 people, bro.
That's amazing.
650
that's
people.
a lot. And you guys are just starting.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I said, listen, there is no secret here. The secret is the system. The people are make it simple. You know what they are doing? They're doing grounding parties. They just invite over their friends, let them sit down into the P90 Plus. They put down their laptop or turn them to the TV and just show them the two videos, the history of the PMF and the P90 Plus experience video. That's it, That doesn't say a word. They just let them watch the video, let them experience the device, and they just ask one question in the end. Now, so how did you like it? What do you want to know more? That's it. It's that so simple, So no scientific mumbo jumbo, no talking like frequencies and blah, blah, blah. No, that's it. Maximum they can share what they have experienced, That's it.
I think you brought up something interesting because and I can't speak for everybody in Ollie Life. Ollie Life, they do four things pretty well. Number one, they're going to research and develop, the best product for the end user, which is amazing. Let them do their job. Number two, they're going to pay commissions. They're going to pay it on time. They're going to pay it correctly. Number three, if you ordered a product, you're going to receive your product. And number four, they're going to constantly improve the quality of customer service. And because they ship to 160 countries, they know that this is their toughest part that they're going to focus on in terms of scaling in different languages. Number two, increasing the performance rate in terms of response within 24 hours. This is going to take some work. And then, of course, they want to integrate technology, which is AI customer service. But these are the four things they focus on. In the field, we all are responsible on marketing. And I know, Gabor, with your experience being in the industry for a long time, of course, within let's just say all of our communities, I feel like we have set up something very unique. We have tools, we have resources that can speak in multiple different languages. I mean, Europe alone has multiple different languages,
Oh yeah.
And so from what I know, we have videos that are in multiple different languages. So just like what you said, I love what you said.
That's correct. Yeah.
A person can just, put their feet on the device and then they can just play a video in their native tongue. And then afterwards they can be like, hey, what'd you like about it? Or, do you see this as something that you would benefit from? And that's it. It makes life really easy.
Absolutely. And we already know that from 10 people who try the device, probably 11 is going to buy it. That is their experience, because basically everybody feels something, everybody feels it that something is going on. I don't know exactly what is it, but I feel it is something is going on here. So that's an awesome thing.
The first time I truly experienced this with Van was, I remember that because my experience with Ollie Life was I was over the industry. I didn't want to do it no more. I decided I just wanted to focus on a different part of the career. Wanted to take a break from it. So it took Van and I quite some time for us to really make a decision to really engage in the business. And I remember the first time that we actually decided to reach out to somebody, and this really was an eye opener for us. I text a very close friend that's local here in California, And I text him. I said, "Hey, have you ever seen this device before?" And I sent him a picture of the foot device, the P90, P90 Plus. So I didn't know how to approach him. I just figured the first thing I thought of was like, let's just start a conversation with the guy. Let's see what he says. So I texted him the picture and he said, "No, I never seen that before. What is it?" He's like, "Brother, I never seen this before. What is it?" And I said, "You know what? I don't know how to explain it. Let me call you." And he's like, "No, let me call you when I'm on my lunch break." So normal guy, I just wanted to reach out to him. He's a close friend, known him for so long. So he calls me on his lunch break and he says, "I've never seen this device before. What is it? What does it do?" And I just told him our experience. He's like, I told him, I said, "Look, I was introduced to this device years ago, 2.5 years ago, and I never took it serious. I started using it and I noticed that my ankle started warming up and my legs, it started going up to my knees. I started sweating within 20 minutes. And as I researched, I noticed that it was helping, really do some detoxing in my body. I started sweating, so I really like it." And he goes, "So what does it do exactly?" I said, "I don't know how to explain it." I told him, "Do you still live in Anaheim?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do." "Do you still live in your city?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "Yeah, you mind if I stop by with my wife?" I said, "Yeah, come over. I want you to try it." So fast forward, they come over 8 o'clock at night and they walk through the door. His wife, Stephanie, was kind of limping. I said, "I haven't seen you for years. What happened?" She's like, "Oh, I got in a car accident. And then basically I've been going through rehabilitation, but I still have pain on where my hip is." I said, "Yeah, come in." And then so Richard said, "This is why I wanted to bring Stephanie, because when you told me," I said, "You know what? I don't know. I've been trying to find ways to help her. I just don't know how to help." I said, "Yeah, she can try it." So before I share the story, results may vary. I'm not making any claim. I'm just sharing a testimonial. Okay. So they both sit down on our couch. And again, this is my first time just deciding to just share it. I was engaging into this. So Stephanie puts her feet on the device and she's like, "So explain me how this whole thing works." I didn't know how to explain it. And just like what Gabor said, we played a video. So the video was doing all the explanation. I didn't know how to explain it. I'm not a scientist. But after the video, she started asking me all types of questions. I didn't know any answers. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a technician. I never created this product. But she started asking me these questions. I said, "You know what? I know that PEMF has been around for a long time. There's a ton of study. You mind if I open up ChatGPT and we can ask ChatGPT?" I mean, her and Richard looked at each other like, "Hey, as long as we get the answer." I'm like, "All right." So I screen shared from my phone ChatGPT app to the big screen in my living room. This is a true story. And I'm like, "Go and ask the question." She's like, "Hey, is PEMF what are all the benefits of PEMF?" I said, "Okay, hold on. What are all the benefits of PEMF?" And ChatGPT, with all the data that it has around the world, it started spitting out all the answers. And she was reading it. Richard was reading it out loud. I was fascinated because that's my first time actually reading it too. And then she's like, "Well, is it safe?" I said, "I don't know. Let's ask." So we started asking, "Is PEMF safe?" And then it showed all the clinical trials that PEMF, not Oligolife, just PEMF, since PEMF has been researched heavily. Modern PEMFs have been researched since late 1960s, and all that data was pulling up. And so after it was done, her experience was done. She's like, I gotta put the kids to bed." So they both get up, they walk towards the door, and she went from limping, still limping, but you can tell she was smoother, she was quicker. It's hard to explain unless you were there. But Richard looked at me, I looked at him, I looked at my wife, and I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to say anything," because I didn't want to look like I was brainwashed. Okay. I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna leave. I'm not even gonna mention anything." So they leave. The next day, Richard texts me and he said, "I'm gonna call you on my lunch break." So he calls me, he says, "Tuan, you have no idea. Stephanie said that she woke up and she said that she hasn't slept like that in a long time. And she said she noticed that she felt different today. Like she felt like she could walk better." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Look, I'm ready to buy it. How much is the one with the 2 extensions?" I'm like, "Oh, that's the P90 Plus." And I told him the price. And he said, "I also want the other product as well, which, the pair of goggles." And I told him the price, and Richard is the type of guy, if he's watching this, he'll tell you up front, I'm not talking behind his back. He's a guy that, he works hard, but, his expenses are really high. It's in my opinion, it's more than, he's my close friend. It's more than I would say he would want to afford. But he said, "I get paid on Friday. don't worry, I'm ready to buy. And he bought. I remember telling Van, I walked into the kitchen, I said, Hunt, we didn't do anything. All we did was we invited them, like Gabor, just like what you said. We were at a grounding, I guess you call it a grounding party. They came, they sat down, put the feeling device, played a video, used ChatGPT, and they left. That was it.
That's it. That's it.
I love it.
Tuan, I tell you the interesting story, okay? Probably I never tell that in the calls, but many people knows it actually. But, we only to talk about that in the beginning in Europe, the product was quite slow. So people was waiting for 4 to 8, even 8 weeks, to arrive. So
that's a long time.
I said, what can I do to achieve that more and more and more people will be able to try the device? So you know what I did? I just getting into my car, went to Budapest, rented a hotel room, okay, for 2 days. And I tell to my people that, listen, guys, I will be in this hotel room for 2 days. Here is the booking site. So you can just come to your friends, every half an hour, a new friend. And, you can come from the morning till the evening, And I've been fully booked, for the 2 days. Wow. Within a couple of hours, within a couple of hours. And, and that just went for 2 days, People was coming to my hotel room, they sit down to the P90 Plus, they experienced it, I showed them a video, and that's it. It was half an hour, in and out, Next one coming, next one already knocking on the door, So that's what I did for 2 days, and this is when the whole thing was completely exploded,
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because, to your point, that's what, I always say results may vary, but when you get out there, like what you're saying, if you're just like, hey, listen, like you didn't have to, because I know where you live, you made a trip to Budapest, and then you actually put yourself out there. Are you saying that everyone should do that? No, but what you did was you had enough belief in the product. You saw value that it really helps people, when it comes to the wellness. And you said, you know what, I'm just gonna put myself out there, and I'm just gonna go out there and reach out to my relationships. And you filled up your whole schedule, because the product really does.
Absolutely. Today is a lot easier because probably, everybody can get the device within maximum 2 weeks, more likely,
Yep.
So there could be some isolated cases when it takes a little bit longer, but I think the majority will get it within 2 weeks. That's even faster. I heard people take out the device for even 4 days and something like this. So that's incredible. So you just really need to invite over your friends and let them try it. That's it. That's it. It's easy. They have nothing to lose, but everything to gain, because that will be a good experience for them. That's for sure. So Tuan, thank you very much, my friend. Absolutely. I think we are closing. We are very, very close to the end of this call. So maybe I will bring back Ricky. If you are still there and you want to share us with some more wisdom till the end of this call, then you are welcome to do so. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the call for today. And I think everybody was enjoying it, although that was not a regular opportunity presentation, but you can, find an opportunity presentation in a plenty of places. And actually, my advice to you, if you're someone who is listening this call for the first time, okay, then please go back to the person who has referred you to this call or to this recording, if you are watching it later from the recording, and ask for the specific information, okay? Let the person invite you to a Zoom call or give you another recording for a more specific presentation with product information. But, first and foremost, try the product, okay? Try the product. If you're invited to try the product, do it. Because, the product will convince you, okay? Even if you're not believe it, you're gonna feel it, That's it, that's for sure. So absolutely. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for everybody. Thank you, Tuan, and thank you, Ricky, for joining to this call. And of course, the recording will be immediately there. So if someone was late, no problem, because the recording is there, absolutely ready for you to watch anytime. Okay? Thank you, guys. Goodbye.
Enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Gabor, for the invite, and looking forward to seeing you next time.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you guys.